All right, this is Beau Pinto here today with Just Compassion Show, Cannabis in Canada. We have a very special guest, Dana Larsen, a legend in the cannabis community. Tell us a little bit about what you have going here today for the exhibition.
Well, today we've got our dual booth going on like usual. Half of it is for my books, The History of Cannabis in Canada, Harry Pothead and the Marijuana Stone, Green Buds and Hash, and The Pie-Eyed Piper, 3 funny parodies, and 1 more serious book looking at 400 years of really the hidden history of cannabis in Canada. And then the other half of our booth, we've got all of our creams and salves. I've got a business called MJ Creams, and we sell marijuana-infused creams and salves. Our pain salve is our #1 seller by far. This is very popular. The pain cream is very popular, and I'm amazed at how well these products work really for people, and how many people call us and tell us their pain has been relieved and how important it is. It's another example of what an incredible medicine cannabis can be. We also sell these kind of salve products as well. It's the same thing, just in a beeswax formulation. And people talk about like, well, where are we going to sell legal marijuana, a liquor store or not? And I always say, like, our perception of what marijuana is very limited. They're thinking about buds and joints. And I go, are you going to sell cannabis suppositories at a liquor store? No, obviously not, right? And like creams, no, these things should be sold in different places, right? The creams could be sold anywhere. Some products should be sold in a pharmacy, some would work at a dispensary, some could be sold at a corner store and that. And so I like the creams because they broaden people's perceptions. We all know about this, but people who aren't part of the cannabis community, the idea of rubbing marijuana on your skin to relieve pain or to help with the skin condition is kind of a new idea for a lot of people. And so one of the things I like about the cream, it's a way of introducing people to cannabis who are prejudiced against it or who are afraid of it, because it's such a positive, easy product. And I talked to lots of people who were like, oh, my aunt hates marijuana, but she wants more of that cream for her arthritis. And so it gives people an in into the cannabis medicine and using them. So that's what we're doing here today.
And it's so funny too, because some of the just results that you can see with the medical world, so they say that topicals with cannabis is some of the most powerful versions of cannabis, right? So seeing people using that on their skin, watching psoriasis fade away, watching arthritis, people have struggled with it for years. I know people who work at bars and they work with their hands all day. Their hands are like can't even move by the time they get home. They rub a little bit of the salve on their hands and they're good to go, right? So it's incredible. Now I know probably a lot of people already know this about you and know about your history within cannabis in Canada, but tell us a little bit more about your movement as far as the Overgrow movement and how you felt about that, and what was your inspiration behind that and things like that.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I've been involved in cannabis activism for over 25 years now in different ways. And I really see this, what we're in now, as a massive civil disobedience movement, really Canada's largest. I mean, even bongs and pipes aren't actually legal in Canada. My books aren't really even legal in Canada under Section 462.2 of the Criminal Code. But there's head shops and dispensaries everywhere in Canada, despite the illegality. And so the reason I gave away seeds was, to me, that's the final step in this civil disobedience campaign, from selling cannabis products, from selling the instruments available, from having big rallies where we use and share cannabis openly. But the one thing you can't do anymore in Canada is grow cannabis without a license openly and get away with it, right? I can go on the news and say, I sell marijuana to every adult that asks, and no one comes after me now because we've got that level of tolerance. But if I say I've got 300 plants in my backyard with no license, they'll still come and get me. And so by giving away 5 million cannabis seeds this year, my goal is to encourage Canadians to plant it openly and publicly, and to have so much cannabis growing openly that the police can't keep up. The same way we did with head shops, and now we're doing with dispensaries, that we overgrow the government, not by force or by violence, but by the sheer numbers and by our willingness to take a risk to make this change happen. And so last year, we started the campaign. I hope to be able to give away 1 million seeds. At the time, I thought, 1 million? That's a lot of seeds. Are we going to have enough interest? And partly because I was arrested in Calgary last year, which was a big hassle, but also gave me a huge media bonanza. We actually gave away 2.5 million seeds last year. And so, yeah, actually beautiful. And so this year I decided to announce double, and we just barely made it. We got 5 million seeds distributed. We had 23,000 people sign up online, so we gave gave away 2.3 million seeds online, and then during our tour we gave away about 500,000, and then for 420 we sent big boxes full of sorted seeds to a lot of the 420 events, including Toronto, and that's where we got to the 5 million total. And people are really excited about getting involved in this. I've been getting lots of pictures of all their sprouts and all their plants. You know, I wish I had 5 million Purple Kush seeds to give away, but I don't. The seeds we gave away are low THC, about 10% CBD variety. It's suitable for making medicine for yourself if you want to, but really they're more for a symbolic to grow outdoors, to grow publicly. And I'm hoping that we see lots of news stories this year about these plants growing in public places. There's been a few already, and really, to me, it's a symbolic act, but it's also a very real thing, that if we can just get so much cannabis growing publicly, that going after these plants will become a non-issue eventually, and I believe cannabis should grow openly like any other plant. People say to me, what about kids or growing in a playground? And I say, marijuana is fine to grow in playgrounds. Marijuana is fine to grow around kids. We have, in every public playground and park in Canada, I guarantee you there are plants growing there that are toxic, that are poisonous. If you put them in your mouth, you can really hurt yourself. And that's fine. We don't worry about that, because we shouldn't worry about plants. They're part of our community. And the cannabis plants are safer than any other plants, but there's no risk there's no risk to a child playing near a cannabis plant. There's no harm to be gotten from that. So I have no concerns with that. I think we should grow them everywhere. And to me, I want to normalize cannabis. I want to normalize cannabis growing. I want to live in a country where you walk down the street, you see somebody's got 20 cannabis plants in their front yard, and you go, well, those look nice, but you're not startled or stunned or concerned because you've already seen 200 cannabis plants walking down the street that day. It's not a big deal any more than admiring a bunch of daffodils or a rose bush on somebody's lawn, right? So I think we got a ways to go till we get there yet, but I'm lucky enough to have a friend who has a lot of these seeds, and I'm going to keep giving them away as long as I can. And so this year, during the tour, I went back to Calgary again. And I was nervous because I'm still on bail for these seed giveaway. I'm still facing charges. They want to have a trial later on this year, which to me is just absurd. They want to go to trial with this. And so I was worried about going back to Calgary, but in the end I decided to do it. And in Calgary, I did 23 stops all across the country, from Victoria to St. John's. No cops anywhere except Calgary. 2 police showed up. And when the people that were at the event said, if they try to arrest Dana, we're all going to link arms and join them in a circle, and the cops are like, forget this, and they left, right? And so there was no police action at all, which I think is good. But I said, I'm still facing charges, and they still want to go to trial. To me, we're in a country where they're dropping very serious charges of first-degree murder, serial rape, violent crimes, because there's no room in our court system to handle it. So regardless of how you think about cannabis, even if you hate cannabis, it should be a lower priority for our courts than murderers and rapists. And so if they take me to trial, I will be quite upset, not about me having to go to trial, but about the idea that they're making room in our court system for non-issues like giving away cannabis seeds when they don't have room for real criminals. And in Calgary, just like any other city in Canada, there's at least 20 places in Calgary you can buy marijuana seeds over the counter quite openly, and nobody cares, nor should they. But they're coming after me because I got a lot of attention, right? But I'm proud to be able to give away these seeds. I think the campaign has been a success, and I'm glad I didn't get arrested again in Calgary this year. And I expect they'll probably drop the charges against me ultimately, and it will all just go away.
That's my hope for you too, and you've done an incredible job as far as uniting Canadians and cannabis Canadians together, and making that realization that yes, there are laws in place, but just because they're made the laws, it doesn't mean that they're fair. It doesn't mean that they're right. It doesn't mean that we have to follow them. We have to sort of set what's important for us and go out there and stand together for what we believe is right. So it's incredible, man.
Well, and you know, I'll tell you, when I launched a campaign called Sensible BC, where we were trying to collect signatures across the province in 2011, and it was a lot of work for a lot of people, right? I mean, it was a lot of effort involved. And what really moved me the most was before and after that campaign, I met so many people who were part of it who thanked me for giving them something to do, because they believe in cannabis, they want to help, but they don't know what to do. They live in a small town or even in a big city, and some of us can devote our whole lives to this and open dispensaries, and not everybody has has that ability or that desire, but they want to get involved. And so I find the same thing with this seed giveaway. People want to do something, and by giving them seeds to give a chance to do something, they're grateful for having the opportunity to make a change, because they know that prohibition is wrong. In most cases, cannabis has helped their lives immensely, but how to make a difference, it's very hard to do. And so I've realized that giving people a chance to make a difference, it makes them happy that they get a chance to, I get to go plant these seeds and watch them grow, or I get to go out and collect signatures, or I get to do whatever. And they almost see it as like a gift, like I get to go do something. Right on, thanks Dana for giving me a job to do. And so I love that. And it's so meaningful to me that people are so wanting to get engaged, and if I can help push them in the right direction and give them some ideas on how to be active, that to me is just wonderful. Overgrowing the government, I think, is a wonderful term, because ours is not a revolution of violence or force or anything like that. We're outnumbered. We don't have any. We're peaceful, and we are, But by standing up for this, by just willing to make that change, and by taking a risk, it's amazing what you can accomplish. And we have made such great changes in Canada so far, and we're really just getting going.
Absolutely. Again, Dana, you're a legend in the community. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for all your valuable time. We hope you have a great rest of the weekend. Cheers, my friend.